What if I told you that some of the most profitable plants on Earth are not locked away in distant tropical jungles or corporate greenhouses, but are sitting in your neighbor's neglected garden bed or growing wild on the side of the road? Most people do not know this, but while we are all running to the store to buy dried herbs in tiny plastic containers, marked up 400%, there are growers quietly pulling in thousands of dollars a month from plants that most of us walk right past. The plant industry does not want you thinking like a grower. They want you thinking like a consumer. And that difference in mindset is worth more than you can imagine. Stick around because number 17 on this list is a plant whose harvest sells for more per ounce than gold itself, and yet it grows from a bulb you can buy for pocket change. And number 20 is a plant so valuable that people have literally gone to war over it. And it could be growing in your woods right now without you even knowing. Make sure you hit that subscribe button because we post new videos every week that show you exactly how to turn overlooked plants into real, consistent income. So let us get into it. Here are 20 expensive plants that will make you thousands every month. Ranked from impressive to absolutely life-changing. Number 1, lavender, the purple money machine. If there is one plant that practically prints money and smells incredible while doing it, it is lavender. Ancient Egyptians used it in their mummification process. The Romans bathed in it. Its name comes from the Latin word lavare, meaning to wash. For thousands of years, Lavandula angustifolia has been one of the most consistently valued plants in human civilization. Modern research confirms what those civilizations already knew. Lavender essential oil contains linalool and linaloyl acetate, two compounds shown in clinical studies to reduce anxiety, lower heart rate, and improve sleep quality. A study published in the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine found that lavender aromatherapy significantly reduced stress markers in ICU patients. Traditional use included everything from wound dressing on battlefields to calming teas and sachets placed in linen drawers. Midwives in medieval Europe used lavender water during childbirth. Lavender fell out of the spotlight because synthetic fragrance companies flooded the market with cheap imitations. Why grow the real thing when a lab can approximate the scent for pennies? But here's the thing. Consumers are coming back hard for the real deal. Dried lavender bundles sell for $8 to $15 each at farmers markets, and a single acre can produce 12,000 or more bundles per season. Think of it as the gateway crop of the plant profit world. Easy to grow, beautiful to look at, and the first step toward realizing your garden is an ATM. Number 2, rosemary, the evergreen cash crop. Rosemary has been a symbol of remembrance since ancient Greece, where students wore rosemary garlands during exams believing it sharpened memory. Rosmarinus officinalis thrived across the Mediterranean, and every civilization that touched that coastline found a use for it. Recent clinical studies back the memory connection. Rosemary contains a compound called rosmarinic acid, and research from Northumbria University showed that even the aroma of rosemary essential oil improved cognitive performance and mood in test subjects. It is also a potent antioxidant and anti-inflammatory. Here is how it was used. Cooks relied on it for preserving meat before refrigeration. Herbalists brewed it into teas for headaches and digestive issues. It was burned as incense in hospitals during plague outbreaks to purify the air. Rosemary was pushed aside because it was too common. It grew everywhere, so nobody thought to monetize it. But today, live rosemary topiaries sell for $20 to $50 at garden centers, and rosemary essential oil fetches premium prices in the wellness market. Think of it as the reliable workhorse plant. It never stops producing, it never dies back in mild climates, and it quietly earns you money year after year. Number 3. Lemongrass, the tropical blade of profit. In Southeast Asia, lemongrass has been a kitchen staple and a medicine cabinet essential for centuries. Thai, Vietnamese, and Indonesian cuisines are built on its bright, citrusy flavor. Cymbopogon citratus grows in dense clumps that multiply fast, which is exactly what you want in a cash crop. Science has validated its traditional uses. Lemongrass contains citral, a compound with proven antifungal and antibacterial properties. Research published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology showed that lemongrass oil inhibited the growth of several pathogenic bacteria and fungi in laboratory settings. Traditional use included fever reduction, digestive teas, and insect repellent. In Brazilian folk medicine, lemongrass tea was a go-to remedy for nervous tension. It was overlooked in Western markets because it was seen as an exotic ingredient, something you only needed if you were cooking pad thai. But the essential oil market changed everything. Lemongrass oil is in high demand for candles, soaps, cleaning products, and aromatherapy. A single plant costs almost nothing to propagate, and fresh stalks sell for $2 to $4 a bunch at farmers markets, with essential oil production scaling the profits even higher. Think of it as the plant that multiplies your money as fast as it multiplies itself. Number 4. Chamomile, the gentle gold mine. Chamomile has been called the doctor plant since ancient Egypt. where it was dedicated to the sun god Ra. Matricaria chamomilla, the German variety, has been one of the most widely consumed herbal teas in the world for over 3,000 years, and modern science has confirmed it deserves that reputation. Chamomile contains apigenin, a flavonoid that binds to benzodiazepine receptors in the brain, producing a mild sedative effect. A clinical trial at the University of Pennsylvania found that chamomile extract significantly reduced symptoms of generalized anxiety disorder compared to a placebo. Here is how it was used. Dried chamomile flowers were brewed into teas for sleep, applied as poultices for skin irritation, and used in steam inhalations for respiratory issues. It was one of the 9 sacred herbs listed in the Anglo-Saxon Lacnunga manuscript. Chamomile lost its commercial shine because it was too gentle. In an era that celebrated strong pharmaceutical interventions, a flower that calmly reduced anxiety seemed quaint. But the wellness tea market is now worth billions, and organic dried chamomile flowers sell for $20 to $40 per pound. Think of it as the quiet earner that makes money while you sleep. Literally, since that is what it helps people do. Number 5. Culinary sage, the sacred smoke. Sage was considered a sacred plant by the Romans, who created elaborate rituals just to harvest it. Salvia officinalis gets its name from salvary, meaning to save or to heal, and cultures across Europe and the Americas have treated it with reverence for millennia. Research now shows sage contains thujone and carnosic acid, compounds with neuroprotective properties. A study in the Journal of Clinical Pharmacy and Therapeutics found that sage extract improved memory and cognitive function in healthy young adults. Traditional use included sore throat gargles, digestive tonics, and smudging ceremonies among indigenous peoples of North America. European herbalists prescribed it for grief and depression. Sage was sidelined because it sat in everyone's spice rack, familiar and unremarkable. But specialty sage varieties, like pineapple sage or tricolor sage, sell for $5 to $12 per plant at nurseries. Dried culinary sage bundles and smudge sticks have become a thriving market, with white sage bundles selling for $10 to $20 each. Think of it as the plant hiding its fortune behind familiarity. The moment you see it as a product, the profits appear. Number 6. Echinacea, the prairie warrior. The Great Plains tribes of North America used echinacea more than any other plant for medicine. Echinacea purpurea was their frontline treatment for everything from snake bites to toothaches. And when European settlers arrived, they quickly adopted it. Modern immunology has confirmed that echinacea stimulates phagocytosis, the process by which white blood cells consume pathogens. A meta-analysis published in the Lancet Infectious Diseases found that echinacea reduced the risk of developing a common cold by 58%. Here is how it was used. Roots were chewed raw for pain relief. Teas were brewed for immune support. Poultices were applied to wounds and burns. Echinacea fell out of favor when antibiotics arrived and made herbal immune support seem primitive. But the supplement industry brought it roaring back, and today echinacea is one of the top-selling herbal supplements in North America. Dried echinacea root sells for $25 to $60 per pound, and the plants themselves are hardy perennials that come back year after year. Think of it as the comeback kid of the plant world, written off by modern medicine, then quietly outselling most of them at the health food store. Number 7. Elderberry, the medicine tree. Elderberry has been called the medicine chest of the common people for centuries. Hippocrates himself referred to the elder tree, Sambucus nigra, as his medicine chest. Every part of this plant was used, from the flowers to the berries to the bark, and clinical research supports the hype. Elderberry contains anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants that have been shown to inhibit viral replication. A randomized, double-blind study published in the Journal of International Medical Research found that elderberry extract reduced the duration and severity of influenza symptoms. Traditional use included elderflower cordials, elderberry syrups for colds, and bark infusions for inflammation. In European folk tradition, it was considered bad luck to cut down an elder tree without asking permission from the elder mother spirit. The elderberry was neglected because making syrups and tinctures took effort, and the pharmaceutical industry offered faster, more convenient options. But elderberry syrup is now one of the most popular natural remedies in the world, selling for $15 to $30 per bottle. A mature elder tree produces 20 to 30 pounds of berries per year, and the value-added products you can make from those berries are where the real money lives. Think of it as the old village apothecary, ancient, trustworthy, and suddenly more relevant than ever. Number 8. Turmeric, the golden root. Turmeric has been the cornerstone of Ayurvedic medicine for over 4,000 years. In India, it is not just a spice, it is sacred. Curcuma longa was used in wedding ceremonies, temple rituals, and as a dye for monks' robes. Science has gone deep on turmeric. Its active compound, curcumin, has been the subject of over 12,000 peer-reviewed studies. Research shows curcumin has potent anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects. A study in the Journal of Medicinal Food found that curcumin was as effective as ibuprofen for managing knee osteoarthritis pain. Here is how it was used. Golden paste was applied to wounds. Turmeric milk was drunk for respiratory issues. It was mixed with honey for sore throats and with oil for skin conditions. Turmeric was dismissed in the West because it was filed under ethnic cooking spice. Nobody took it seriously as medicine, but the supplement industry turned that around fast. Organic turmeric root sells for $6 to $15 per pound, and value-added products like turmeric capsules, golden milk mixes, and tinctures multiply that value tenfold. Think of it as the spice rack sleeper agent, underestimated for decades, now one of the highest demand botanicals on the planet. Number 9, goji berry, the longevity fruit. In Chinese medicine, goji berries have been prescribed for over 2,000 years to nourish the liver, support the eyes, and extend life. Lycium barbarum was a staple of Taoist monks who believed it cultivated inner vitality. Modern nutritional science has found that goji berries are extraordinarily nutrient-dense, containing zeaxanthin for eye health, all 8 essential amino acids, and more vitamin C per ounce than oranges. A study in the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine found that daily goji berry consumption improved energy, sleep quality, and feelings of general well-being. Traditional use included dried berries in soups and teas, tinctures for kidney and liver support, and as a longevity tonic taken daily. Goji berries were ignored in Western markets for decades because they were lumped in with the thousands of other exotic superfoods that came and went. But they stuck. Dried goji berries now sell for $15 to $25 per pound at retail, and the plants are hardy perennials that produce fruit for 15 to 20 years once established. Think of it as the retirement fund you can plant. Put it in the ground, be patient, and watch it pay you for decades. Number 10. Moringa, the miracle tree. There is a tree that grows in some of the poorest regions on Earth and contains more nutrition per leaf than almost any other plant known to science. That tree is Moringa oleifera, and it has been called the miracle tree, the drumstick tree, and the tree of life. Research published in the Annals of the New York Academy of Sciences confirmed that moringa leaves contain 7 times the vitamin C of oranges, 4 times the calcium of milk, and twice the protein of yogurt. Its leaves also contain quercetin and chlorogenic acid, compounds shown to lower blood sugar and reduce inflammation. Here is how it was used. In West Africa and South Asia, moringa leaves were dried and ground into powder to combat malnutrition. The seeds were used to purify drinking water. The oil pressed from the seeds, called ben oil, was used for cooking and cosmetics. Moringa was ignored in wealthy nations because it grew in developing countries and was associated with poverty, not profit. That narrative is changing fast. Moringa powder now sells for $15 to $30 per pound, and the trees grow so quickly in warm climates that you can begin harvesting leaves within months of planting. Think of it as the most nutritious ATM on the planet. Fast-growing, endlessly generous, and still wildly underpriced for what it delivers. Now, if you are finding this valuable and you are starting to realize just how much income potential has been hiding in plain sight in the plant world, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button right now. It helps this video reach other people who are ready to start making real money from plants. And if you have not subscribed to The Garden Path yet, click that subscribe button and ring the bell. We are building a community of smart, self-reliant growers who refuse to leave money on the table. And I would love to have you as part of it. All right, let us keep going because we are just getting to the really amazing ones. Number 11, passion fruit, the jungle jewel. Passion fruit was named by Spanish missionaries in South America who saw the flower's structure as a symbol of the Passion of Christ. Passiflora edulis produces one of the most intensely flavored fruits on Earth, and its flowers are so complex that they look engineered. Studies show that passion fruit peel extract is rich in pectin and polyphenols. Research in the Journal of Evidence-Based Complementary and Alternative Medicine found that passion fruit peel flower significantly reduced inflammation markers in overweight individuals. Traditional use included the fruit for food, the leaves brewed into a sedative tea, and the flower as an anxiety remedy. In Brazilian folk medicine, passion flower tea was given to calm, restless children. Passion fruit was overlooked in temperate markets because people assumed it was purely tropical. But with greenhouse growing and improved cultivars, growers in warmer U.S. zones are now producing passion fruit. The fruit sells for $3 to $5 each at specialty markets, and the plants produce abundantly once established. Think of it as the exotic earner that is far less exotic to grow than anyone realizes. Number 12. Golden seal, the Appalachian treasure. Deep in the forests of eastern North America, there is a small, unassuming plant that was once worth more per pound than most things you could pull from the ground. Hydrastis canadensis was a cornerstone of Cherokee and Iroquois medicine. Its primary compound, berberine, has been the subject of extensive research. Studies published in Metabolism found that berberine lowered blood sugar levels as effectively as the prescription drug metformin in patients with type 2 diabetes. Here is how it was used. The bright yellow root was ground into powder for eye washes, digestive remedies, and wound treatments. It was one of the most widely traded medicinal plants in colonial America. Golden seal was over-harvested nearly to extinction because wild populations could not keep up with demand and nobody thought to cultivate it. Today, cultivated golden seal root sells for $70 to $100 per pound dried, making it one of the most valuable medicinal herbs you can grow. It thrives in shaded forest gardens, meaning you do not even need open land. Think of it as the forest floor fortune, growing quietly in the shade, worth more per pound than most things growing in full sun. Number 13. Wasabi, the green dragon. Real wasabi is one of the most misunderstood and misrepresented foods in the world. That green paste at your local sushi restaurant is almost certainly not wasabi at all. It is horseradish dyed green. Authentic Wasabia japonica is notoriously difficult to grow and staggeringly expensive. Research has shown that wasabi contains allyl isothiocyanate, a compound with potent antimicrobial properties. Studies in the International Journal of Food Microbiology confirmed that real wasabi inhibits the growth of bacteria commonly responsible for food poisoning. Traditional use in Japan goes back centuries. Wasabi was grated fresh over sushi, not just for flavor, but specifically to kill parasites in raw fish. It was also used in traditional medicine for respiratory congestion. Wasabi remained rare because it demands very specific growing conditions: cool, shaded, running water. Most growers gave up, but those who mastered it charged $30 to $50 per pound for fresh wasabi rhizome, and individual plants sell for $15 to $25 to home gardeners and chefs who want the real thing. Think of it as the high-difficulty, high-reward crop. Not for everyone, but wildly profitable for those who crack the code. Number 14. Vanilla orchid, the queen of spice. Vanilla is the second most expensive spice in the world by weight, and the story of how it got that way is fascinating. The vanilla orchid, Vanilla planifolia, is native to Mexico, where the Totonac people first cultivated it. Each flower must be hand-pollinated within a 12-hour window, and the curing process takes months. Vanillin, the primary compound, has been shown to have antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties, but it is the complexity of over 200 additional flavor compounds in real vanilla that makes it irreplaceable. Research and comprehensive reviews in food science and food safety confirm that natural vanilla has a chemical complexity that synthetic vanillin cannot replicate. Traditional use included flavoring cacao drinks among the Aztecs, perfume production, and medicinal applications for stomach ailments. Real vanilla was pushed to the margins because synthetic vanillin, derived from wood pulp, costs a fraction of the price. But demand for real vanilla is soaring. Cured vanilla beans sell for $200 to $600 per pound, and vanilla orchid cuttings sell for $20 to $40 each to hobbyist growers. Think of it as the diva of the plant world, demanding, temperamental, but worth an absolute fortune when you give it what it needs. Number 15. Lemon balm, the liquid gold leaf. Most people think of lemon balm as a pleasant garden herb, maybe something you toss into iced tea. They have no idea what it is actually worth. Melissa officinalis gets its name from the Greek word for honeybee because bees are irresistibly drawn to it. Here's where it gets remarkable. Melissa essential oil is one of the most expensive essential oils in the world, sometimes selling for over $200 per ounce. The plant yields very little oil per harvest, making the genuine product extraordinarily rare. Studies in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology found that Melissa extract had significant calming effects and improved cognitive function in patients with Alzheimer's disease. Traditional use included calming teas, sleep aids, cold sore treatment, and as a strewing herb in medieval homes to freshen the air and repel insects. Lemon balm was dismissed because it grows like a weed. People assumed something that easy to grow could not possibly be valuable. But the essential oil market tells a completely different story. That weedy patch in your garden could be producing one of the most precious essential oils on the planet. Think of it as the plant kingdom's best-kept pricing secret. Looks like a common herb, priced like liquid gold. Number 16. Sandalwood, the sacred timber. Sandalwood has been revered for thousands of years across Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. Santalum album, Indian sandalwood, has been burned in temples, carved into sacred objects, and distilled into one of the most prized fragrance ingredients in human history. The compound responsible, Alpha-santalol has been studied for its anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, and anti-cancer properties. Research published in Planta Medica found that santalol induced apoptosis in skin cancer cells in laboratory settings. Traditional use included religious ceremonies, meditation aids, perfumery, and skincare formulations. Sandalwood paste was applied to the forehead during Hindu prayer rituals. Sandalwood became scarce because decades of overharvesting decimated wild populations, and the trees take 15 to 20 years to produce heartwood. Governments restricted harvesting, and the price skyrocketed. Today, sandalwood essential oil sells for over $2,000 per kilogram. Growers in Australia and Hawaii are now establishing sandalwood plantations, and while it requires patience, a mature sandalwood plantation is worth millions. Think of it as the ultimate long game. Plant it now, and your future self will thank you with a fortune. Number 17. Saffron crocus, the red gold. Here's the one I teased at the beginning, and it lives up to every bit of the hype. Saffron, harvested from the stigmas of Crocus sativus, is the most expensive spice on the planet by weight. It takes roughly 75,000 flowers to produce a single pound of saffron. Each flower has only 3 tiny red stigmas, and every one of them must be picked by hand. That sounds insane, and it is. But here's what makes this a grower's dream. The bulbs are cheap. You can buy saffron crocus corms for less than $1 each. They come back every year, they multiply on their own, and the spice they produce sells for $5,000 to $10,000 per pound. A well-managed quarter-acre plot can produce a crop worth tens of thousands of dollars annually. Research published in the Journal of Integrative Medicine found that crocin, the compound that gives saffron its vivid red color, has significant antidepressant effects, performing comparably to fluoxetine in clinical trials. Traditional use goes back to ancient Persia, where saffron was used as a dye, a perfume, a medicine, and a spice. Cleopatra reportedly bathed in saffron-infused water. It was so valued in medieval Europe that saffron traders who adulterated their product were executed. Saffron never really disappeared, but most people assume you cannot grow it outside of Iran or Spain. That is simply not true. Saffron crocus thrives in many temperate climates, including large parts of the United States. The harvest window is short, about 3 weeks in the fall, but the labor is the kind you can do at a kitchen table while listening to a podcast. Think of it as the red thread connecting ancient wealth to modern opportunity. Tiny, fragile, and worth more per ounce than gold. Number 18. Paulownia, the Empress Tree. This is the fastest growing hardwood tree on the planet. Paulownia tomentosa can grow 10 to 15 feet in a single year, and its timber is prized in Japan, where it is traditionally used to make tansu chests, musical instruments, and ceremonial clogs for brides. Studies in the Journal of Wood Science confirm that Paulownia wood has an exceptionally high strength-to-weight ratio, making it valuable for furniture, surfboards, and sustainable construction. The wood is also fire-resistant, insect-resistant, and remarkably stable. Traditional use in Asia spanned centuries. A Paulownia tree was planted when a daughter was born and harvested to build her wedding furniture. The flowers produce abundant nectar, making it a favorite among beekeepers. Paulownia was overlooked in Western markets because it was dismissed as an invasive ornamental. Nobody took its timber value seriously, but plantation-grown Paulownia lumber sells for $8 to $15 per board foot, and carbon credit programs now pay growers for the extraordinary amount of carbon dioxide these trees absorb. A well-managed Paulownia plantation can generate revenue from timber, honey production, and carbon credits simultaneously. Think of it as the triple income tree. It pays you for its wood, its flowers, and just for breathing. Number 19. Agarwood, the wood of the gods. If you want to talk about truly expensive plant products, nothing on this list comes close to agarwood. Aquilaria malicensis produces a dark, fragrant resin when infected by a specific type of mold. That infected wood, known as oud, is the most expensive raw material in the perfume industry. High-grade agarwood can sell for over $10,000 per kilogram, and the finest oud oil has been known to fetch over $50,000 per liter. Research published in the Journal of Chromatography found over 150 individual aromatic compounds in agarwood resin, creating a scent profile so complex it has never been successfully synthesized. Traditional use spans thousands of years across the Middle East, South Asia, and East Asia. It was burned in temples, palaces, and homes. In traditional Chinese medicine, it was prescribed for digestive issues and as a calming agent. It is mentioned in the Bible, the Quran, and ancient Sanskrit texts. Agarwood became rare because wild Aquilaria trees were harvested to near extinction. But inoculation techniques now allow growers to induce resin production in cultivated trees. Plantations in Southeast Asia are producing agarwood commercially, and growers who get in early are positioned in one of the most lucrative botanical markets in the world. Think of it as the rarest perfume ingredient on Earth, born from a wound in a tree worth more per ounce than almost anything else you can grow. Here we are at number 20, the one I saved for last because it represents everything we have talked about today. Number 20, American ginseng, the root of patience. American ginseng, Panax quinquefolius, is the plant that ties this entire list together. It is not the flashiest, it is not the fastest growing, it will not give you a return in 3 months, but it is the one that teaches the most important lesson about making real money from plants. The most valuable things take time. Wild American ginseng has been harvested from the forests of Appalachia and the Midwest for centuries. The Cherokee, the Iroquois, and dozens of other indigenous nations used it as a tonic for overall vitality. When trade routes opened to China, where ginseng had been revered for millennia as the king of herbs, American ginseng became one of the most valuable exports in colonial history. Daniel Boone traded in ginseng. John Jacob Astor built part of his fortune on it. The root contains ginsenosides, a class of compounds shown to modulate the immune system, improve cognitive function, and reduce fatigue. A study published in the Annals of Internal Medicine found that American ginseng extract reduced the frequency and severity of upper respiratory infections. Research from the University of Toronto showed it improved blood sugar management in patients with type 2 diabetes. Here is how it was used. The root was dried and sliced into teas, ground into powder, or chewed raw. It was given to the elderly for energy, to the sick for recovery, and to travelers for endurance. In traditional Chinese medicine, American ginseng is classified as a yin tonic, prized for its cooling, restorative properties, distinct from the more stimulating Asian variety. Wild ginseng was nearly wiped out by overharvesting, and it is now regulated in most states. But here is the opportunity. Wild simulated ginseng, grown from seed under a natural forest canopy, produces roots that are nearly indistinguishable from wild roots. These roots take 7 to 10 years to mature. When they do, they sell for $300 to $800 per pound dried. A well-managed half-acre woodland plot can produce a harvest worth $50,000 or more. This is not a get-rich-quick plant. It is a get-rich-right plant. It rewards patience, stewardship, and a deep understanding of working with nature instead of against it. And that is the real lesson of this entire video. Every plant on this list, from lavender to agarwood, exists at the intersection of knowledge and patience. The people making real money from plants are the ones who took the time to learn what was valuable, put it in the ground, and let nature do what it does best. American ginseng is the ultimate expression of that philosophy. It grows slowly, it hides in the shade, and when the time is right, it is worth more per pound than almost anything else in the forest. Think of it as the final lesson from The Garden Path. The real gold is not always shiny, it is not always fast, but if you are willing to learn and wait, it will change your life. Alright, if this video opened your eyes, smash that like button. Drop a comment and tell me, are you Team Saffron, Team Ginseng, or Team Agarwood? Subscribe to The Garden Path and ring that bell so you never miss a video. Remember, the most valuable things are already growing. You just have to know where to look.